All right. We're here.
We're here. Thank you, everyone who's here. People are probably still coming into our stream, but we're so excited. We launched an anthology yesterday, guys. Isn't that crazy?
We did.
That's wild. Anyway, I'm Connie. Yeah, I was like, what do I need to do? People don't know who I am. I'm Connie. I'm the managing editor at Black Girls Create and one of the lead editors for our anthology called These Bewitching Bonds.
Hi, I'm Bayana. I am co-founder and editor-in-chief of Black Girls Create, and also one of the editors for These Bewitching Bonds. And we're here to celebrate the fact that this anthology dropped and is out in the world. It's kind of wild. I'm very excited about it.
Bayana, when did we start this? Like, okay, when was the initial idea? Because I remember there was a specific moment you came to me and was just like, so Olivia wants to like do a thing and maybe we should like think about doing it. When was that? That was like August of 2019. August of 2019? Because it was at that place.
October.
It was October?
2019. And then we did, it was October. And then we started in October of last year. So it was like a year and we just did the thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we had this idea and then there was an idea. Couldn't resist. But we wanted to, Black Girls Create celebrates the intersection of fandom and creation, and we've done a lot of fandom. We have so many podcasts and so many essays on our website and fan fiction on our website, #HogwartsBSU. But as we move forward, we want to focus on the future, and the future is creation, in our personal lives, and we want to inspire other people to create too. So this anthology really came together because we wanted to inspire people to create things, and we did it. Wow,
we did. That's
wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, it's really funny because it hadn't really sunk in that we were like doing, like, I was just kind of like, yeah, we're doing the anthology. It's just like tasks on a list that I'm like trying to get through on like a long list of other tasks.
Just a few meetings. So, today, there's always meetings, so
yeah, I'm like, it's fine. But yeah, today when I hit the go live button on this, I was like, oh.
So like 2 minutes ago.
So like 3 minutes ago is when I was like, oh, this is the thing that we've done.
Look at it. The lighting's gonna be real weird, but it's like on my iPad. Like,
yeah,
I can read a thing. Like, I just go, oh, that's too bright. It's too bright. The computer can't handle.
We got it the first time.
I gotta turn the brightness down.
Yeah.
But we did a thing, and you can get it right now. Now at bbcanthology.com/shop. We're going to talk to some of our co-conspirators on this anthology, and then you're going to hear from some of the writers in this anthology. One of our creators, one of our artists is going to show you how she made the art that is in this anthology. But we're really excited. We have lots of great readers who are going to share their work. Some are, pros at writing, and some are a little more, haven't been published as much. And so it's really exciting that we have like a really wide variety of people who wanted to share their work with us. And they're all so good. Like, no matter where they are in their like writing journey, like they're all the stories and poems that we picked for this, they're just so good. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And honestly, like, yeah, the whole journey of like getting to read everyone's submissions and like going through it and then being like, nah, this is the one, was like, or the 15 or 16 or however many we have, but like that feeling was really great. So yeah, we're gonna bring on the folks who have been with us on this journey.
So many meetings. So many meetings.
So many meetings.
All of the meetings.
I feel like we're in a meeting right now.
I was just about to say the same thing.
This is basically what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yes. It was just the five of us just like, okay, so in this one, okay, which order do we need to put it in? Because I feel this one really evokes like a feeling of like melancholy, but then we can move into like, you know, some lightness, and like all of it is celebrating like, you know, this section kind of celebrates Black women in like this really specific way. And then this one, you know, like that was kind of how we had to like come through and talk about the anthology. But it was basically this right here every week. Every week.
Every week.
Since October.
Real quick, can y'all introduce yourselves?
Yes, welcome. Let's start with Olivia.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'd also like to introduce my cat, who is a nuisance. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Dolphin. I am, first of all, a huge fan of Black Girls Create. So that's my number one thing I want to say. But I'm also the founder and editor-in-chief of Wizards in Space Literary Magazine. And we are a printed version of an anthology collection. And this is our 6th issue, which just came out as well. And we publish a lot of stories that have a lot of heart. And we publish globally, and which is so cool because we have like representation from a lot of different countries, which I really love. And we've been a thing since about 2015. So that's me. That's what I want to say.
Kai? Kay?
Hey y'all, I'm Kay Alexandra, also huge fan and community member in Black Girls Create. If we're placing ourselves in October 2019, I think that's the last time I saw Bayana and Connie in person.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Nope, it was the same weekend.
So talk about manifesting things. And then of course October 2020. Oh yeah. Ooh. But I am poetry editor of this anthology, which was just a dream to be asked to do. So thank you for that. And also an editor at Wizards in Space. So it's honestly been a blur being in meetings for both of these amazing projects.
Right, because Wizards in Space also drops soon, or has dropped. It's
yes.
Dropping?
Yes.
And
We dropped.
Dropped. Okay.
Yeah, we're doubling up on parties. So we have this tonight, and and here's my cat wants to hang out and party. And we are celebrating our contributors and our hard work on issue 6 next Friday, March 5th. So if you didn't get enough of us tonight, come hang out.
Olivia and Kay were doing double duty for the last several months, and I don't know how you do it.
Me either. I'm gonna cry after this. Part of the process, everybody. I just want to be very upfront, very honest.
A very long bewitching nap.
Yes.
Literally.
Michelle, hi.
Hi. I'm Michelle, which you can very clearly see. I also have a cat who may be a nuisance. She's staring at me right now. Stop doing that. I actually have been working in the publishing space now for almost a decade, and I've known Connie for years.
I've been working in the publishing space for about 4 weeks, so it's fine.
I actually think October 2019 might have been the last time I saw you in person too. Comic-Con?
Oh my gosh.
It might have been, which is really ridiculous when you think about it, but yeah, okay.
That's true. That's true. Wow.
So that's weird. yeah, I follow Connie and everyone on Twitter, but I mostly Connie saw her tweeting about the project, and I'm like, hey, you guys need marketing help? You guys, hey, I work on digital stuff like all the time. You guys, hey, I can help.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
basically
We were
what I
like,
did.
yes.
Join us faster. Join us faster.
Michelle, I
I'm
don't know what we would have done without you.
I'm just glad I could help. Like it was a blast being part of it, and I don't know, it was just so cool being on this side rather than just being like, okay, it's out, I'm reading it. But I'm like, no, this is really cool. I get to like actually, edit and help run the giveaway, and it was awesome. You guys,
Yeah. It's crazy to think that we were gonna do this without you. Like the plan was
I
like,
know.
oh, it's like, okay, it's me and Bayana, and then Olivia's like walking us through it with the backing of Wizards in Space, and Bayana and I are like, we need somebody to help with poetry. Kay already works with Wizards in Space, she can do the poetry, and then that was gonna be kind of the like main team, and then Michelle was like, can I help? And I was like, say less. Say it again.
And then you saw how many pieces you had to read.
Yeah. Your assistance, and we are so glad that I kidnapped you into the group, and you decided you were hacking your way into the group. Like, it's like
you can't get rid of me.
I feel like that's just how Black Girls Create works. It's like a mutual finesse, like
a mutual invasion and kidnapping.
Yeah, at the same time. Like, you want to go here? We want you to go here. All right.
Like, and done.
That's it. Finesse is exactly how we put it. But yeah, Olivia came to us with this idea, something that we kind of were talking about too, in October of 2019. And then a year later, we started it. And we literally could not have done this without Olivia and her amazing support, her expertise with, literally all the administrative stuff that I could have never, ever, ever, ever done.
Yeah.
Just having the structure of how this works and what to do and when to do it was really invaluable. And we just want to say we appreciate you a whole lot.
I appreciate you guys. And if I can quickly say, I kind of tweeted this a little bit, but something I like to say during these launch parties is that this takes so much work to do, and it's a commitment, and it's still in the show. It's just we've met for every Tuesday for a couple weeks. We doubled up when we were reading submissions. I want to shout out Alex, obviously, who also double dipped with Wizards in Space, and one of our other editors, Liz, helped out doing a lot of the back end stuff.
Spreadsheets.
Liz
is
the spreadsheet queen. So I never want to scare anyone away by saying that this takes work, but I do like to call it out because I think it's very commendable and very honorable that a group of people were like, this thing doesn't exist, and I would like to see this thing exist. And it takes a lot of work. And I think another thing that I was so thrilled about was that Wizards in Space, one of our foundational things is that we like to pay creators, and we like to pay our designers, and the staff gets paid, and to have the opportunity to share that value with Black Girls Create and kind of infuse that into how we built the infrastructure for this is just, I'm very honored to have been able to do it with such a wonderful group of ladies and people.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like it was a lot of work, but also money. So we thank you, everyone who's watching, everyone who pre-ordered it, everyone who will order it. Go into the description and get that link right there. You can buy it and read along with our readers. So you might want to do that. But it definitely takes a lot of money and a lot of work, and we really appreciate everyone who financially contributed in any way, shape, or form, and anyone who contributed in any way, shape, or form, and everyone who worked on this got paid. So a little something, a little, so yes, thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Michelle. And
Always.
we're gonna like get
We're
some
gonna get into these
reading going
readings.
on. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So bye y'all. All right, so our first reader. So Talia Franks is a poet, writer, and translator born and raised in Massachusetts. They are an alum of the Breadloaf Translators Conference and of the Columbia Publishing course, and earned a Master of Arts in Comparative Humanities from Brandeis University. Talia writes regularly on Word for Sense and Other Stories, and they have contributed articles to both Black Girls Create, and Nerdist. They've written reviews of poetry and prose in translation for 3%, and their poetry has appeared on Black Girls Create, again, and in the Brandeis University publications Jaded and Ebony Access. When not reading, writing, or translating, Talia enjoys hiking, meditation, spending time with friends and family, indexing their personal library, and trying to find more time in their schedule to read. You can find Talia on Instagram and Twitter at Talia_Franks. So we're gonna bring Talia on. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
So we're gonna just turn it over to you, and you can read a part of your wonderful piece.
Right. Yeah. So I wrote for the anthology this poem called Owning the Story, which is a few different poems in combination. So starts with the mother. As I weave this fairy tale being told on this night, one can almost hear the whisper of the lies at first light. You were never the queen, the kingdom always reigned, and I can almost believe him until I see my people in pain. What's the use in crying when all of our dreams are dead? All I do is lie there and talk about his dreams instead. I pray that she understands. I know that she wonders why. I speak with one voice in the shadows and the other with the sun in the sky. Once there was a queen, more powerful than the king. Shh, yes, it's true. And one day the powerful one, my daughter, will be you. Love is a tricky thing, a weapon potent when honed. And while I may die here, in her heart, she is not alone. The chorus. In the quiet, they think of the mother, and as the hero looks to the sky, the moon shines ever brighter. For the sun, the end is nigh. The hero. They tried to write me down, but I twisted and writhed, ink splattered on the page, chaos refusing to dry. You call me your daughter, a child of the moon, but how could I be so simple? To the sun, I am not immune. I count my blessings every day. I fight for what I believe, and yet I can't help feel bitter at the lot I've received. A queendom and a castle, reclamation is my burden, and yet so much I love is ashes. Our safety is forever uncertain. I fought the dragon, beat the king, saved the damsel, destroyed the ring. I fulfilled every witch fantasy, and yet none of it manages to satiate me. They call me a hero, but don't get confused. They call me a witch too, and I am not amused. How can I claim my magic when the melody is off key? When the war within myself causes anything but harmony? What is home to a hero once that home is long gone? Who am I to go home to? Who will sing me my last song? When you don't fit the definition of what they find pristine, they'll get a new hero, and your slate is wiped clean. That's why we have each other, bonds that don't break. Family, forgiveness, room for mistakes. I'll write my own story. I'll find my own page. I'll ride into glory, a night on the stage. And there's more to the poem, but if you want the rest of it, you have to buy the anthology.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Talia. That was beautiful, and we picked it to be the opening poem because it just like evoked such a fairy tale esque presence, and was a great like way to enter this like magical world. So we're so happy, and thank you for reading it. You were lovely.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
All right. Next, we have a beautiful artist, Monique Steele, who will be sharing some of her art and how she made it, which is very cool. Monique Steele, hi. Monique Steele is a Jamaican-born illustrator currently residing in New York City. Thematically, her art focuses mostly on exploring historical costuming, fan culture, and diabolical women in power. When she's not drawing famous queens in history, you can find her deeply mired in the comings and goings of pop culture, trying to refine her spicy foods palette and lamenting no longer living the island girl lifestyle, especially
Very
during
true.
this panini, right?
Miss it every day. so much.
You're gonna share your screen, right? A little button.
Yes, I am. Let's see. Boom. Okay, cool. Let me press play. So this piece that I did for the Black Girls Create Anthology, I wanted to start using from an old piece that I did before, which is the one on the left-hand side there. I knew I wanted her to have long hair, potions, and a cat. And I really like redoing old art because it's a good way to gauge how much I've grown as an artist. So it's fun to be able to revisit that theme again. Typically when I start working, I work using like pen and paper first. I work traditionally just so that I can like get more of that gesture correct. Because when you work in digital, a lot of times, this might not be true for everyone, but a lot of times when you work digitally, it gets really stiff really easily and you lose that sketch quality. So I like to start off with the sketch and then put it into Procreate or Photoshop and work from there. And so, yeah, I mean, pretty much trying to figure out how to keep it looking lively was kind of the main idea behind doing this whole thing. I also never intended to give it a background, but I'm extra, so it spiraled into a whole scene. Let's see. Also, you're gonna see in a few that when I tried to draw the cat, I basically just plopped in an image of a real cat because cats are really hard to draw, and I'd have to draw a million cats to get the anatomy right. So I just like rage quit how I drew the cat to start off. I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just get a real cat in here, figure it out. Yep, there it goes. Very hard. I have to draw 50 million cats. So basically, from here, I'm going to go into color pretty soon. And this is my favorite part of doing anything, is getting the colors down. I like to do at least 3 color studies because I'll like the first one. I'll have like an image in my head of what I think it should look like, but I'm never quite set on that idea. So I always try to do 3 and play around with what I think I should do next. And sometimes I'll start thinking I'll do 1 and I'll put the flat colors in and then completely change my mind to one of the secondary ones or something of the sort. But for this one, I ended up going with the color scheme that I did because it was earthier and warm. So the other ones were a little bit pastel princess, and I didn't think that fit the vibe quite as nicely as this one did. I think like there's one in there that's like purples and pinks, which I really love, but it looks like a Barbie playhouse version of what witches should be, and I just feel like I should keep it traditional witch, which is why I ended up going with this one. It's a little bit more autumnal, and I also liked how the green potion like looks next to the reds because green and red are opposite colors, so the green pops more on top of everything. Let's see. Also, when I'm picking color schemes, I'm focusing on that a lot because that's my favorite part of the whole thing. I tend to keep like Pinterest boards of color palettes that I like because it's very hard to come up with stuff off the fly. And also I tend to use a lot of the same colors just so I can mix it up. I keep a lot of Pinterest boards with color schemes on it, and I use there's a tool in Procreate that lets you just save each color palette and like auto fills a color palette for you. So this I think I came up with off the cuff, but most of the times I'm using or looking at inspiration for color palettes from something else. I also like to take all the line art and change the color. I find that the black lines are too harsh next to the color scheme. I just like it like when the lines are colored, so it gives it a softer look. It feels a little bit more painterly. And also when you do things like rim lighting, which is what I did here with that strong green light, it makes it feel a little bit more like it's a part of the piece versus the harsh black line through it. But yeah, pretty much how I made that. I hope that was helpful. If anyone is interested in art or anything of the sort, I hope that was useful in some way.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
I was like, oh my gosh, like that was so cool. And everybody in the comments is like, this is so
I'm
like
glad.
to see the process of like how to do that. A lot of times we just see like the final thing, and the final thing is amazing, but then like seeing all the layers and stuff, like that's
my favorite part for even me as like an artist. I love watching other people make their thing. So I love watching speed paints of people making their art. It's fun.
Yeah, it's so dope. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for having your piece in our anthology.
Happy to do it. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Up next, we have Jacque, who is the creator of Adorned by Chi, a character-based lifestyle brand and original comic series for magical girls. While Adorned by Chi is her first published tale, Jacque has been writing and world building for ages. So we're gonna welcome. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna give you the floor to read your piece.
Okay. Awesome. Here I go. All right, so my piece is titled To NECA by Jacque A. And there is a content warning for suicide. So here I go. The second time death crossed my mind, I was seated in the 5th row of a train headed to a place I'd never visited before. I watched the clouds billow by while cradling a wicker basket full of tropical fruits. The basket was topped with a sprawling bow and a card addressed to NECA. Unlike the first time I'd mulled over the prospect of death, this instance wasn't brought on by any painful experiences. No, this time it was spurred by a very important matter. Excuse me, miss, do you have a ticket? The train attendant towered over me, holding out his gloved hand. Oh, yes, of course. I shot a polite smile as I rummaged through my back pockets, then my jacket pocket, then inside the basket itself where I found the ticket lodged between 2 large ripe mangoes. The attendant ripped the ticket and returned my half before moving on to the couple behind me. I returned to my thoughts. Surprisingly, death was no longer a sad or scary concept to me. In my childhood, when storm clouds would come rolling in and the man on the television would say, "Stay safe, folks, and stay indoors if you can," I'd hide under my bed. There, I'd count down from 10 over and over again, tears staining my cheeks until the storm passed. Each time, I was convinced it was the end, and I was terrified of the looming prospect of the end of life. As an adult, life scared me much more than death ever did. Storms and ghosts no longer sent chills down my spine. Rather, I'd grown much more frightened of the zombie I and others had become. We'd mindlessly shuffled our feet to and fro here and there, hungry for something but never satisfied. Haunted by our guilt, haunted by our worries, haunted by the ever-present feeling of loneliness that followed behind us like a shadow. At the train stop, I watched people tearfully reunite with family or stop and check the map hanging on the wall for directions to their final destination, or hurriedly shuffle about as if they were late for a very important meeting. Meanwhile, I sat on a bench with a map open and my basket beside me, hoping to gain some sense of direction. As I sat, a burly man with a thick, coily mustache sunk into the bench beside me. He wore a dark trench coat that swept the floor as he moved, and his kinky hair had a sharp part cut into it. I brazenly watched as he pulled a cigarette from his breast pocket, then fumbled around in various pockets looking for something. Hey, he looked at me now, examining my basket. You happen to have a lighter in that basket of yours? I shook my head. Only mangoes and guava. I'd forgotten about the papaya. Mangoes, eh? He ceased his search and rubbed his palms on his thighs. I hate to ask, but mind if I have one? I avoided the man's gaze and pulled the basket closer to me. I wasn't a selfish person in any way, and had the basket been mine, I would have surely handed over a mango, maybe two, but they'd belonged to my mother, and now they belong to Nneka. You could just say no. The man huffed and sat back into the bench. His foot began to nervously tap. Well, no, sorry. I get it. The man exhaled deeply. Listen, I'm just nervous is all. I've got my big interview coming up, and I know I shouldn't be smoking or stress eating, but this interview is driving me crazy. Don't worry, I assured him. I'm sure you'll knock it out of the park. Hey, thanks, he smiled briefly, but you don't know me or how I've lived, so being sure seems a bit insincere, don't you think? This is true. Well, now you're just being overly agreeable. I shrugged my shoulders and stared into my basket for a moment. The two of us sat in uncomfortable silence before I stood to my feet. Well, good luck with the interview. I hope you're able to move on. The man grunted. And that's as much as I'm reading.
Just a little taste.
Just a little.
In order to find the rest. Oh, by the way, just so you know, wearing my Adorned by t-shirt, I need some space.
Yes.
I was like, Jackie gonna be on. I have to represent.
Hey, I love it.
Yes. So thank you for submitting your piece. It's so good, and it really evokes like this like melancholy mood, but just like Jackie is like still somehow bright and bubbly. And like, how do you do that? Like, it's magic to be able to walk that fine line, you know. Also, your hair is great. So you've gotten lots of compliments in the chat about your big hair. So.
You know I love yours.
You know, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Next up is a community member, the staff member, one of the legendary Squints. We've got Porshea Jamira, who is a storyteller, data analysis and research, and fiction writing are her primary devices. Living in Brooklyn, though hailing from Middle Tennessee, her life is full of travel, reading, and working with organizations she's passionate about. Black Girls Create, For All Nerds, and the Harry Potter Alliance. Follow her journey on Twitter at Porshea. Hi, friends. Hello. Hey. How's it going?
You know, life.
It's
in the pandemic. It's going.
It's fine. But yeah, we're so excited to hear you read a bit of your story. So take it away.
Hey. So this is called Amangasi. This specific short portion I'm calling A Magical Gathering. It's taken from the longer version that I'm still writing, so we'll see when I'm finished that. And today I'm going to start it off in a place where we're getting conversation between some of the main characters. The waning light brought a particular beauty to the narrow two-lane road that ran a winding path up to Free Hill. Fireflies and the distant flashbangs of 4th of July fireworks accompanied her headlights along deserted roads which seldom revealed a passing car around each bend in the winding landscape. It was dark by the time that Lisa finally pulled up the gravel path to her Aunt Ella Mae's farm out in the country. Although it was a familial home, the place was truly her great aunt's domain. Being asked to meet her here automatically put Lisa on the defensive. What was she expected to reveal today? And how much could she get away with withholding? Hey, baby, her Aunt Ella Mae, a short woman in mid-60s with dusky, unlined brown skin and short, tightly coiled hair, stood in the open doorway. Glad you stopped by. I hope you're spending the night instead of heading back out in the dark on those bad roads. Yes, ma'am, Lisa responded, holding up her overnight bag. I've got everything I'll need. Good. You can join Patricia in the den. I'm going to put the kettle on the stove so we can have some tea. Lisa nodded, dropping her bag off in an unoccupied room near the bathroom and changing into her pajamas. before joining her cousin. While Patricia, being here, too, assured her that neither would be alone when facing Aunt LeMay's scrutiny, Lisa took it as a sign that the older woman knew enough to make the night a tense one. Ah, she's lured you here too, Patricia nodded from her perch on one end of the love seat. I'm glad she didn't single me out. Where's Dion? Lisa inquired after Patricia's young daughter. I hope I didn't take the room you were planning to sleep in. Nah, she's with her dad this week. I know that's right. You get some time to yourself this summer. Are you off this week? I took a couple of days off. Thought I'd spend it giving the house a deep clean and catching up on my stories. Looks like Grandma has other plans in mind for my time off, though. Patricia shook her head, eyes creased with worry. What do you think she knows? Lisa stopped, short, hearing the soft clattering of ceramic mugs echoing from the hallway. Both women stood up. Do you need help, Auntie? Aunt LeMay entered the den, bearing a tray of 3 steaming mugs of tea. I spent countless days carrying trays heavier than this. Y'all sit down and grab a cup. I'm pretty sure I remembered how y'all like it. She waved, picking up her favorite mug and settling into the armchair. After the women had each taken a sip or two of her tea, Aunt LeMay started. I'm sure y'all want to know why I asked y'all here. And the answer is simple. It's time everyone fessed up to what they're hiding from the family. Lisa and Patricia turned to each other warily, trying to gauge whether the other would speak up first. If Ella May had called on both of them to be here, there were only 2 secrets she'd want revealed. The trouble was that the cousins had taken the trouble of keeping quiet about what they knew of each other in a family full of Amangasi for very serious reasons. Neither of them wanted to face judgment that could lead them to become forsaken, effectively disowned from their family and removed of their sight. Aunt May looked between the 2 of them unimpressed. Neither of you want to talk? Okay, I'll make things clearer. My visions have been hazy lately. I couldn't get them any sharper, but I could set my visions on what caused the blockage. I kept seeing the numbers 2 and 8. Both of you are 28 years old and were born on a 28. Your cousin Andrea fits too, but she's never used her sight. I knew only someone using their abilities could block mine. So who is it? Lisa chanced a quick look at Patricia to see her on the verge of crying, top lip set to trembling. It's me, Auntie, Lisa hesitated, cupping her still steaming mug for warmth for her now clammy hands. My aura's been off since I came back from Paris, but I didn't want to worry anyone about it. I wanted to keep it to myself. Keep what exactly to yourself? She replied with a raised eyebrow. It'll only go away if you let it all out. Well, Paris didn't go exactly how I said it did, Lisa started. I mean, I did leave the apprenticeship program, but that was only after I was basically let go. See, I fell in love with a Tootsie man. Tootsie? Like candy? No, Grandma, like from Rwanda in Africa, Patricia answered, gesturing for Lisa to continue her story. He worked for the UN, and our relationship was everything I dreamed of. Strange. She hadn't spoken about what happened to her in Paris for such a long time that she had trouble choking all of the words out. But there is also something freeing about letting a person she respected so highly in on this part of her life. Living a life away from everything I knew. Free to roam and adventure on my time off. Finding freedom in someone who liked me just as much as I liked them. Or so I thought. But then I got pregnant. Aunt Ella May's mug hit the coffee table with a thunk. She nodded for Lisa to keep speaking. He seemed happy about it at first, but then, as weeks went by, he seemed to pull away, says there's something going on with his family back home. Then he disappeared. I couldn't find him anywhere, not at the UN or his apartment, nowhere. I was sad and my work wasn't as good, so I was thinking about dropping out of the fashion apprenticeship and coming back home. And that's when I lost the baby. Rest of the conversation is in the anthology.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me in. Yeah.
All right, we're moving. Okay, so this next person. So up next is Donnalie Jamnah, but first she has asked that we read Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. Her poem is inspired by Maya Angelou's poem. So I'm gonna read that real quick and then I'm gonna introduce DJ. Okay. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. All right. So Donnalie Jamnah is an educator, storyteller, and instructional designer who uses her background in people work to create art that is compelling and often instructive. She is a mother, a mental health advocate, a Black queer artist, and a gigantic nerd. She's also a member of our community. And you can learn more about her and her work at DonnalieJamnah.com. Hi.
Hi. Everyone can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound great. All right. I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to read Caged Bird and sort of put us in that headspace. So this poem is called Singing with Mama Maya. We opened our throats to sing and heard our harmony form, a haunting and ominous blend of voices youthful and voices worn. We sang our song of freedom and tried to mend our clipped wings. We cried great rivers of sadness and used them to wash every sting. The song may have been beautiful. We were in no place to know. For each verse we sang was exhausting, powerful, painful, and slow. We opened our throats to sing, and I reached out to hold Mama's hand, knowing someday she would leave me, but she'd sing till the very end. We sang our song of freedom, and it magically formed a sharp blade that moved slowly with grace and precision, slicing through every bar of our cage. Even though our mama is gone now, I still continue to sing, because this is the song of her freedom, and it helps to uplift my clipped wings. Thank y'all. I have another poem titled The Journey in the anthology, and I hope that you buy it so you can check that out too.
Thank you, DJ. You have two pieces in there. They're both so great. Also, you look great. Like this blue, this fro hawk situation going on. Like, and your voice is so soothing. So thank you for sharing that story with us, for sharing that poem with us for our anthology.
Awesome. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited. And thank you to everyone in the chat and all of it. It's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, DJ. All right.
All right.
I wish there was more. I think that's about it. We want you to give a big up to all of these amazing readers, to all of the artists in the anthology. You will, find their bios at the back of the anthology. We want you to support their work as often as possible, and you should get the anthology, guys. You can't see it because it's too bright. It's just too bright. You can't handle how bright the stories and the magic in this anthology is.
And like as you read it, let us know what
please.
you think.
You can use the hashtag these bewitching bonds. That would be a great way to tell us. Tweet at us at Black Girls Create. Tweet at the creators. Again, their bios are in the back. Some of them shared their social media handles, and you should please let us know what you think of the stories inside.
Yeah, we want to know. And it seems like so far we've had like a lot of great support thanks to y'all. And we want to at some point try to do something like this again. So, stay tuned for things, possible future.
So October, November, December, January, February is 5 months, and we're not going to do it in 5 months next time. So please bear with us, because I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take so many naps. I'm going to every Tuesday at 7. Yeah,
Connie will take naps for me.
Bayana's a whole different story, but I'm going to take a nap every week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Just to make up for 5 months of intense meetings that were so great and so fun. No, truly, it's one of the few projects, like everything I do at Black Girls Create, I love, but this has been like such a different experience and a learning experience, and something that I'm super proud of. So I hope that you all enjoy the stories within, and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's all I got.
And then also this is the second to last day of February, so this is kind of the culmination of Black Wizard History Month, which we've been celebrating all month, with lots of content and lots of things that we've been doing. So thanks to y'all for participating in that, and also again for supporting us in the anthology and all of the work that we do. We have more things because that's how we are, but it will, like Connie said, it will take a break ish. We want on the front end.
Yes,
y'all will be able to breathe. Our foot will be off of your necks, but not necessarily ours.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's the best way to put it.
Exactly. Don't forget to check out Bayana's new YouTube show, Things We Imagined. That is, you're already here on our page and on our channel. Just click, and you'll find it. But yeah, we had so much stuff every day, just about in February and the anthology, and so we're gonna nap. I'm gonna nap for Bayana. We're gonna prep for some of our next things that are coming up. Very exciting things.
And so follow us on Twitter at BLK Girls Create, and on Instagram at Black Girls Create. Make sure to follow Wizards in Space as well on Twitter. WZRDS in Space Mag, and then Instagram is Wizards in Space Mag, because Instagram gives you more characters for your handles than Twitter does.
Both BGC and Wizards in Space have struggled. Okay, the branding. Don't you understand? We're trying to brand here.
Twitter doesn't care.
They don't care about the branding.
No, not at all. And again, buy these Bewitching Bonds if you haven't already. It's in the description. You can just click and then it'll be in your inbox. It's real easy.
Literally, as soon as you click, it'll be in your inbox 2 minutes later, and you can start reading right now. And then use the hashtag these Bewitching Bonds and let us know what you think. And share this with your friends. When digital things drop, I'm always like, well, I can't see what's in it, so why would I want to buy it? But you could send this to everyone and you get a little tease of all the things that are in it, the different kinds of content. So share this link, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Happy reading.